In the space between light and shadow lived a child who should never have existed. Her name was Seraphina. She was the most dangerous thing in two worlds. The birth happened on the night of the blood eclipse, when the moon turned red, when the barrier between realms grew thin. Celeste, the angel of mercy, had fallen in love with the one creature she was meant to destroy. Damien was not like other vampires. He had kept his soul when the darkness took his body. In keeping his soul, he had found something he thought was lost forever, the capacity to love. Their love was forbidden by the celestial realm. Their love was cursed by the Shadow Kingdom. But their love created something neither realm had seen before. A child with wings that cast shadows, eyes that held both starlight and hunger. "She cannot stay," Celeste whispered as she held her daughter. "She cannot stay here. Neither of our worlds will accept her." "Then we make a third world," Damien said, "one where she can exist as she is." But the powers that ruled light and shadow had other plans. They came for Seraphina when she was 7 years old. The morning started like any other. She sat by the window of their hidden cottage, watching birds, wishing she could fly like them. Her wings only appeared when she was emotional. When she was calm, she looked almost human. Almost. Her mother was teaching her to sing the angel songs that could heal any wound. Her father was showing her how to move through shadows without making a sound. Neither of them heard the celestial army until it was too late. Michael the archangel descended from the clouds, like a falling star wrapped in armor made of light. Behind him came the vampire lords, ancient creatures with eyes like black holes, teeth like broken promises. "The abomination ends today," Michael declared. "She is not an abomination." Celeste stepped protectively in front of her daughter. "She is our child. You fell, sister. You chose darkness over duty. Now that darkness has taken shape." Seraphina felt her wings beginning to emerge, white like her mother's, edged with the deep black of her father's shadow. "I'm not darkness," she said quietly. "I'm not light either. I'm something else." "There is no something else," the vampire lord hissed. "There is only predator and prey. Choose." The battle that followed shook the earth, cracked the sky. Angel fire met vampire speed. Celestial weapons clashed with shadow magic. The realm of light and the kingdom of darkness fought over the right to destroy a child who belonged to neither. In the chaos, Damien grabbed his daughter's hand. "We run now. What about Mama?" Celeste was fighting 3 angels at once. Her wings spread wide, her sword blazing with the fury of a mother protecting her young. "She'll find us. She always finds us." They ran through forests where the trees whispered warnings. They hid in caves where even light feared to go. They traveled through the spaces between worlds, where lost things go to hide. But everywhere they went, the hunt followed. For 10 years they ran. Seraphina grew up in the margins of reality, never staying anywhere long enough to call it home. Her powers grew too. She could heal with a touch like the angels. She could move through darkness like the vampires. But she could also do things neither race had ever achieved. She could see the threads that connected all living things. She could speak to the dead without losing her soul. She could touch cursed objects without being corrupted. "Why am I like this, Papa?" They were hiding in an abandoned church, surrounded by symbols that should have hurt Damien, but somehow didn't when Seraphina was near. "Because you're something new, something the old rules don't know how to handle." "But what if I'm something wrong?" He looked at his daughter, this impossible child who had made him remember what hope felt like. "You heal broken things just by existing near them. You make enemies remember they were once friends. You bring light to places that have forgotten what light looks like. How could that be wrong?" But Seraphina wasn't convinced. Every mirror showed her the truth. Wings that shouldn't exist. Eyes that held too much knowledge for someone so young. A heart that beat with rhythms from 2 different worlds. Maybe everyone was right. Maybe she was an abomination. Maybe the world would be better if she simply disappeared. The decision came on her 17th birthday. She was tired of running. Tired of bringing danger to the people she loved. Tired of being the cause of wars between realms. That morning she left her father sleeping. Walked into the dawn. She didn't know where she was going. She just knew she couldn't keep hiding. The battlefield found her before she found it. In a valley where wildflowers grew, armies faced each other. In the light of the rising sun, angels with swords of flame stood ready to cleanse the earth. Vampires with claws like midnight prepared to drag the world into eternal darkness. Between them, the war that had been building for 1,000 years was about to begin. They all stopped when they saw her, walking down the hill, just a girl in a simple dress, eyes that held starlight and shadow, stepping between the armies that wanted her dead. "I'm here," she called out, "the thing you've been hunting, the abomination you want to destroy." Michael raised his sword. "Surrender, and we will make your death swift." The vampire lord bared his fangs. "Join us, child, embrace the darkness in your blood." Seraphina stood in the space between them, smiled sadly. "I choose neither, I choose love." Then she did something that changed everything. She opened her arms wide, let her true nature show. Wings of white and black spread behind her. Like a living eclipse, light poured from her hands. Not the harsh light of angels. Warm light, gentle light. The kind of light that doesn't burn away darkness but dances with it. Shadow flowed around her feet. Not the hungry shadow of vampires. Protective shadow. Comforting shadow. The kind of darkness that helps tired souls rest. Where light and shadow met around her, something beautiful happened. The angels remembered what they were fighting for. Not to destroy, to protect. The vampires remembered what they had lost. Not just their mortality, their humanity. One by one, weapons were lowered. Michael stepped forward first. "This is not possible. You are a contradiction." "No," Seraphina said softly, "I'm a bridge." She walked to the nearest angel, a young warrior with doubt in his eyes. "You're tired of fighting," she said to him. "You want to go home?" He nodded. When she touched his hand, his armor didn't burn her. Instead, it glowed warmer, softer. She turned to the vampires, to an ancient creature who had forgotten his own name. "You miss the sun," she said. "You remember what warmth felt like." He should have attacked her. Instead, he bowed his head. "I remember my daughter's laughter." One by one, Seraphina walked between the armies. To each angel, she showed the beauty that could exist in darkness. To each vampire, she showed the peace that could be found in light. Slowly, impossibly, enemies began to see each other, not as monsters, as beings who had forgotten how to be whole. "She's not an abomination," whispered an angel. "She's not a weakness," murmured a vampire. "She's the answer to a question we never thought to ask." Michael lowered his sword completely. "What question?" Seraphina smiled. For the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged somewhere. What if the celestial realm and shadow kingdom were never meant to be enemies? What if they were meant to be two halves of the same whole? The war that should have ended the world became the treaty that saved it. Angels and vampires didn't become friends overnight, but they stopped being enemies. They learned to coexist, to find balance, to remember that both light and darkness had their place. In the great tapestry of existence, Seraphina built a sanctuary between worlds, a place where the lost could find their way, where the broken could be healed, where contradictions could exist in harmony. Her parents found her there, finally able to stop running. "Are you happy?" Celeste asked her daughter. Seraphina looked out at the gardens. Angel children played with young vampires. Former enemies learned to laugh together. Love grew in the spaces that hate used to fill. "I'm whole," she said. "For the first time in my life, I'm exactly what I was meant to be." She was not half angel, half vampire. She was fully herself. That was enough to change two worlds. Sometimes the most beautiful things are born from the spaces between what we think is possible. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from embracing what makes you different. Sometimes love is the only magic powerful enough to rewrite the rules of reality itself. Thank you for watching Enchanted Realms Tales. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more tales where love conquers division and hope finds a way to bloom in the darkest places. Ring the bell so you never miss a story that reminds you magic exists in the most unexpected forms.